Hello, people. Today I'm going to talk about four things, maybe, whatever. One, something that happened last Sunday to me. An individual asked me, said, "Do you really think you could win the presidential election and become president?" I looked at him and I said, "That depends." He said, "What depends? What?" I said, "Depends on you." He said, "Well, if you're on the ballot, I'm going to vote for you." And I looked at him and said, "Then yes, I can really win and become president." That's scary. That's awesome. That's a heck of a job. Very serious job. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the American people. We have people in this country who go hungry while we're feeding the rest of the world. Now, Congress does not know what hunger is. You continue to want people in the upper end of the government that has never been hungry. I've gone 2, 3 days, even more, I believe, without eating. I know what it feels like to be hungry. I know what it's like to go to bed hungry. Actually, your stomach stops hurting after a while. I used to hate, before I became a foster child, substitute teachers. And the reason I did is because the school I went to, they had a free lunch for people who couldn't afford food. But they didn't put it on a list. They had a list of people who paid, and then the rest would bring their bag lunch to school and they'd eat that in the classroom. I was on the list that got free lunch. And when a substitute teacher come in, they'd look on the list who paid, and they would let them go, but they wouldn't let me go. I remember I got up in line once, and the teacher said, "No, you don't go." All the students said, "Yes, he goes. He's in the lunch program. He goes." She says, "No, his name's not on the list. He don't go." So I didn't get lunch at school. And the bad part is that we had already at home run out of food, so I didn't get nothing to eat that day. My mother went up to the school and asked why. The next day, the substitute apologized, and then I got to eat lunch. But then, when another substitute come through, it'd be the same thing. And one time, actually, one substitute didn't let me go, and I remember while everybody was back, they took me to the cafeteria and I got to eat lunch then. These are some of the experiences that I've had as a child. So I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to wake up Christmas and I had two things underneath the Christmas tree. A wind-up race car from Germany that my father picked up, and a right-hander's, I think it was a catcher's mitt. It was a weird shaped glove. And that I remember so well because that was my best Christmas. Nobody had a car like that except for my brother. He had a different color. And the glove, nobody had a glove like that. Nobody. Me and my brother had the glove. Even though I was left-handed, and every time I had to throw the ball, I had to drop the glove and throw the ball, it still was a one-of-a-kind glove. These are the memories I had before I became a foster child. I remember getting my butt kicked once because me, my sister Cookie, and I think my brother Chachi, I was like 6 years old, Cookie was like 5, Tony, my brother Chachi, was like 4. Maybe it might have been just me and Cookie. I don't remember, but it was me and some of my brothers and sisters. And where we lived above a bar in Waukegan, Illinois. And what we do is we go down, out, and around back and go through the garbage cans. There was a bakery. Oh, the stuff we could find in that garbage can. Well, my mother told me that that almost got us killed. She said that the baker thought we were dogs and he was going to put poison in the food. But for some reason, he decided to first see what the dogs were. And he did. It turned out to be me and my sister. I know my sister was there. I'm not sure if my brother or my other sister. Because we were like 6, 5, 4. Well, he had us come in and let us clean the whole place. And oh, we were so proud. I mean, I was carrying, I remember 2 big bags of stuff. Well, to a kid my age, 2 big bags could be like little bags, who knows. And brought them up to my mother and got beat real bad. She thought we stole them. It made us, didn't let us eat any of it. We didn't have nothing to eat. And brought it back to the baker. The baker said, no, they didn't steal it. I gave it to him. They cleaned my store. My mother said, he said we cleaned his bakery shop better than he did. And we could get to places he couldn't get. So we used to go there every day, clean his shop. And oh, we were doing good then. Then I think I want to tell you about how chocolate cake became my favorite cake. It started off with my sister Eva accepting half a sandwich or a sandwich. And she ate it because we had nothing to eat for a couple of days. And she hid underneath a trailer when we were looking for her. Well, my mother wouldn't accept charity. They wouldn't accept food or anything like that. So here we were at night. You know, we found Eva. And we were sitting there watching TV, not having anything to eat that day yet. It was at night. And we were watching black and white TV. Mostly everybody had color, but we had black and white. No sound. So we were trying to read the lips. And somebody knocks on the door. And this I remember. They said they were doing some bakery thing and she had an extra cake and she brought it up to us. And it was a chocolate cake. And it was still warm. And I was drinking water and eating big piece of that chocolate cake. Well, that's all we had. My mother cut it up so each one of us got a big piece. And it was so good. And that's how chocolate cake became my favorite cake. Next to cheesecake. I always love cheesecake. So, yes, when I talk about hungry people in this country and wanting to help them and feed them, I'm talking from past experience as well. I know what that child feels when they go to bed hungry. I know when the mother says, there's no food tonight. What that is. Children don't rebel against that. They accept it because that's the way life is. That's the way it is. Usually they're very quiet about it. It's only the real small babies that cry. But when kids get old enough to start reasoning and they say there's no food, there's no food. They go to bed hungry, go to sleep, wake up hungry. Maybe they get something to eat that day or not. So, when you think about who you want for president, These are the experiences I'm going to be bringing. I know the despair of the parents trying to feed their children. Actually, I know of the despair when a mother tries to feed the children and the father is out drinking. That is not an unusual case. I know what it's like to hear the father and mother fighting and hitting each other. I also know what it's like to be beaten with a belt. And I'm not talking about beating with the belt, the strap side. I'm saying beating with the belt, with the buckle. So I know what child abuse is. I know what child abuse is not. I'm not one of these people that are going to jump up, holler, and yell that, oh, you. No, children need to be disciplined. Sometimes minor corporal punishment is required. I don't expect you to give them whips and lashes across the back like I got. In actuality, a child well brought up, a spanking, probably hit softer than when you're playing with a child, when you're playing and wrestling. Will hurt more to their mind than when you're playing and wrestling, which don't hurt at all. I know people try to brainwash people. I know the anti-spanking advocates. That's pretty well have their beliefs, and I know that people who believe spare the rod, spoil the child, has their beliefs. I would say if you spank a child and you leave welts on that child, even the buttocks, that's a little bit too hard. If you spank a child and there's red marks on his buttocks or her buttocks, stinging might get the message across. If you don't spank the child, which I prefer, and you can discipline the child without spanking, sometimes the wrong look at that child is all that's needed. Sometimes it's not, depending on the child. I do know a child that's been abused in the same situation, never removed. The wrong look don't mean nothing. People caring don't mean nothing because the child does not respond because of the abuse. I remember hiding underneath the bed with my sister getting beat with the strap because she dropped a bowl, big yellow white bowl, and it broke. I'd seen the blood on the floor because my mother was beating her in the bowl, in the broken glass. These are experiences, hunger, abuse. I know what they're like, but yet it did spoil me. I know what it's like to work hard. I know what it's like to work for organizations that don't take care of their employees. Instead, think of their employees like a commodity, the cheapest that they can get, and then wonder why they get garbage. Because a lot of those employees that fit that category are not worth hiring in the first place. You may get lucky and get a few in there that are real hard workers, but they don't recognize them. So people, anti-union people, I want you to understand, when you have a company that takes care of its employees, you don't need a union. When you have a company that realizes people are the most important thing out of that company, and they need to be taken care of, you don't need a union. When you have a company that believes in a fair day's wages for a fair day's work, you don't need a union. But it seems to be when a company grows, it becomes a corporation, and then for some reason people are nothing more than a liability. They are a cost. They are not what makes the company. They are nothing more than something to make a product. A cost, like the raw materials. So the cheaper you get it, the more profit you can make. Now we need the unions. See? Because they're not going to give the people fair days pay for fair days wages. They're not going to take care of the people. Because there's always one outside to replace them with. They're not going to look after their people because that costs money. In those situations, you need the union. See, the union has its place still in this country because corporations are out for themselves. But unions have to be reasonable also and start thinking of the people. When you have a union employee making $1 million a year, you have a problem. So if there's someone up your ladder that's making a lot of money, there's the problem there. Now the union is becoming a corporation in itself, and no longer is the people the thing that matters. It is the income from collecting the dues that matter. The union has crossed over the line, just like a company. A company who takes care of its people and believes in its people and is there for its people is a company. When it crosses the line, becomes a corporation. It's not there for the people. It doesn't believe in its people, and it's not the people. It's a corporation, and the people are a liability. Same thing goes for a union. When a union is small, the people matter. They need to be taken care of. But when it becomes large enough to become a corporation, people don't matter any longer. Your individual needs are not of importance. The paying of the dues is the only thing that matters. You're only an asset as long as you pay your dues. If you don't, you become a liability, and they don't want nothing to do with liabilities. See? So everything has its points and that line. Now, government. And when I become president of the United States, I'm going to be bringing all kinds of experience from all different angles. These experiences are not you politicians' experiences. These experiences is experiences like you experience each and every day. I will have experienced the struggles. I will have experienced the hunger. I have never been homeless yet. But I know what it's like to have no money and nowhere to sleep. My first wife kicked me out of the house. I had no money. All I had was my old roofing truck. I put my uniforms in there to go to work. And I parked the truck at the base. I couldn't go into barracks because I was married and collected BAQ. So I had no place to sleep. Had no money. Had no credit cards that had anything on it. So for a couple of days, I lived out of my truck. I did have a place to shower because we had a decontamination station at our command. Everybody has one. I know it's It was in the men's room. It was a couple of showers there in the men's room. We called it a decontamination station. I'd go in there, shower, shave, get myself ready, and then go to work. Duty days, it was no problem because being in second class, I had duty which had me to stay all night. I had a place then I could sleep. Matter of fact, it was forward. I had a bed for a change. And then I would shower and get ready for work. They'd give me off the next day, and they'd say, well, why are you still here? I said, well, I got no place to go. Go home. No, my wife kicked me out. Just an experience. So I kind of a little bit know what it's like not to have a place to sleep. But that was such a short experience. I learned very much from that, and very well, because from then on, every time I got any money whatsoever, it went into my wallet, different places. So if she ever did that again, I'd be able to get myself a place. And it's a good thing I did that. And it started out as $2 here, $3 here, then it changed it to a $5 bill, $20 bill. I even had a $100 bill in my wallet. I had a couple of them, matter of fact, hidden in there. In time. So that would never happen to me again. Now I'm looking for a job, just like a lot of you, just to stay, because my income, which should carry it, is starting to not meet the needs of inflation. So I know what it's like to make a decent income and not be able to take care of everything. I know what it's like to struggle payday to payday. I also know what it's like to wonder what in the world tomorrow is going to bring. It seems to every tomorrow comes, it just gets a little bit worse, not better. Okay, that's enough of some of the experiences I'm going to bring. What's going to matter is you. What can I do to help you with your negative experiences? One thing I want to tell you is that I want you to understand a constitution only works when each and every one of you are involved. What's happening right now is that you're not involved. A lot of you are not involved with our government. You don't vote. You don't this, you don't talk politics, you don't even care about politics. And that's the truth, you don't care. And the Constitution will only work when all of you are involved. Because you control everything through your vote. Your vote matters more than you could ever imagine. The whole Constitution is built on you as the people who vote. You might say, yeah, but they don't listen to us. They don't listen to you because you don't vote. They would listen to you when you start voting for others. JD will never, ever accept a political party or join one. He'll accept endorsements from them. But I cannot become a political party person, because you are the ones that matter, not the Republican views, not the Democrat views, not the Libertarian views. You, the people. Because without you, there is no country. Without you, the United States of America does not exist. I want you to think about that. Without you, but yet And that's why political parties have taken over the government. That's why the rich, who are very active, and corporations and organizations from throughout the world are very much involved with our government, because we are not. We need to change that. You need to change that. And I promise you, the only promise I make is that we can fix our government. But the key word is we. Not can fix, not our government, not all that stuff. We. Not me alone, but you. So, can I be elected? If you say, if your name's on the ballot, I'm going to vote for you. Yes, I can be elected. If you say, this guy's full of crap, well, maybe not. But I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, and I'm no political party member. My concerns and main concerns will always be you, the people, first and foremost. Okay? Thank you. This is JD. Now you know a little bit more about JD and his experiences and what really matters to him. Thank you.